This is Red Moon Role-Playing.
Welcome back into Black Skies over Brixton. We're back in Brixton, as we have chosen to portray it back in 1991. A district in South London with a population of around 70,000, comprising 1940s low-rise structures and 60s and 70s tower blocks and houses standing alongside Victorian brick houses and expansive railway bridges. The neighbourhood has seen its fair share of troubles, and the entire area exhibits signs of neglect, with cracked concrete, rusted corrugated steel, and residences featuring boarded-up windows or vacant lots in disrepair. In 1981, as well as 85, there were a number of violent riots and clashes between the Metropolitan Police and Brixton's residents. Those in 81 arose mainly due to police utilising unprovoked and aggressive stop and searches exclusively on local youth. And the ones in 1985 were in response to the wrongful police shooting of a local woman and mother. Now, Brixton is a place of high unemployment rates, increasing poverty, poor housing. There's been a surge in crime, particularly in the narcotics trade, and recently a violent gang war has flared up. Some of the gangs are the Joy Boys, marked with the yellow colours, the up-and-coming PDC, Poverty-Driven Children, or Peel Them Crew gang, the younger 28s, the Junction Boys and Peckham Boys. And as we find our characters, we are in what would be a positive, bright spot in the community. A local record shop, Crispworks. But it is not very lively at this point. Matthew, you've just stumbled over the lower half of a man's body. It's lying there on the floor, its contents leaking out across it. It's crushed in places, as if something heavy had fallen on it, but impossibly destroyed. It's already a scene of blood and gore, so I won't make you to roll to keep it together again, as you just try and close your eyes. And what do you do?
I need to push on. I need to find the person who was making, sounds of being alive. I mean, whatever's happened here, if someone has survived it, they do need help immediately. So I'll just keep looking.
You continue up to the left side of the shop, and it seems to be a bathroom. The door has been kicked down, and the hinges are broken. There's old blue tiles across the walls. They're sprayed, too, with blood. You see syringes in the trash can, and the sink. There's no windows. Black mold. Broken, bloodied mirrors, reflecting blurred images. It's a faint yellow light that flickers twice before going out. You can't really see what's in there, so I would suppose you have a torch with you.
I do have it as part of my kit, yeah, so I'll light up the bathroom then to see what's actually happened here.
The toilet is running. Multiple drugs seem to be shoved down into it, clogging it. There's musky water, slowly filling it to the top. Someone's face was likely forced down inside of it. You can see blood marks where the head may have been beaten, creating cracks in the wear. You see a dying plant that's hanging near the sink, and then as you look down near your feet to just inside the door to your left, you see a decapitated head. It's been stabbed through and through with many knives up the neck and down the top of the head. Its bloodshot eyes, as you look closer, they bulge and dart around the room in confusion.
Is there any way I can save this person?
It's a head.
Yeah, that's I find myself thinking, how could I even think that I could save someone like that? I just begin moving out. I feel like throwing up.
Do you?
I know well enough that I would compromise this crime scene further if I did that, so I'll try to bolt out, try to get to the streets. I can't be here.
Gabe, you see this. You see, as you are examining the walls and the scribblings, it's occult scrawlings, sigils, words, pictographs, carved, some of them on wood, some of them in blood, written in blood, glass, vinyls, and tapes from floor to the ceiling all over, and under the furnitures it's not an inch of the record shop that was spared. And as you're looking up, you see Matthew darting out of the toilet, seemingly heading for the street. What are you doing?
Oh, I let him run past me. I need to keep looking as long as I can. As I pass over that first body, do I recognise them? Is this Tyrone?
It can't be. It's just a lower body. It's with jeans. You're not sure. You moved past the counter and no, you can't really tell. There's 2 other rooms here. That's the record store and then the office. You're not sure where he would have gone if he were attacked.
Well, I'll then head further in and see if I can see what, well, this poor young man saw. Clearly something gruesome.
Yeah. It's dark in there. The toilet lights have just gone out. You can't really make anything out. You just hear the toilet running. And the lights seem to be, broken.
Broken lights. And then, alright, I'll keep going to the office then. That's the last place.
Yes, you go in there. It's almost like a lounge these days. Black leather couches, spray-painted walls, tattered band posters, cigarettes, old music equipment. There's speakers, liquor and drugs scattered everywhere, and there's less blood in here. You see more a trail of blood, and this is the only place where the light is actually on. You'd think they might have been first attacked here, like stabbed maybe, and bleeding, and then running towards the main area.
Well, I'll look around the room. I'm not sure what to really look for, but let's see if I can find anything. I'll start trying to quickly look around the scene. I am aware that I'm probably going to get in trouble with that man outside, but he's distracted right now, and I can maybe quickly look around.
Again, is there a chance that Tyrone is still alive? Well, and also, what is this really about? You see one of the walls, there's a lot of photographs on it. Faint photographs of Jaffe and a bunch of old friends. Jaffe's face appears to be distorted due to a glitch in the film. Some of the other faces have suffered the same fate, but there's you on one of them. These are old times, photos from back when.
Oh, bless him. That's a shame. I'm going to have to take the photo of me and keep that for myself. This place is going to be investigated by the police soon, and I don't really like having myself involved in these things more than I have to be, so I'll take that one. As I look over this place, one last time, just try and get a sense of things. Do I sense that something has occurred here that is trying to hide things from me? Of course, the illusion always hides things, and I've already sensed that, but I'm just seeing if there's something more. Because if there is, I could dispel it. But if not, then obviously I won't bother trying.
You hear a faint laughter somewhere from below. There's nothing there, just the floorboards. But it leads you to see a napkin that lies on the table. It's a white, nicely embroidered napkin.
I pick it up. Just a white napkin. Any significance to this as I look it over in my hands?
It's, as you pick it up, you notice that it's resting gently against a bunch of drugs. It says, "Call me when things get ugly," with the name Maria, and what appears to be her number. Yes, and you also notice that there's a box of drugs resting next to it. A shoebox with free samples. Not that you... Well, you actually do know your stuff. It's amphetamine, pills, weed, in the middle of... Yeah, a piece of yellow cloth is protecting it, half laid over it.
I look to the door. Part of me would like to remove all this, because this makes it look very bad for my possibly deceased friend, but at the same time, well, this stuff should be off the streets, I guess. So I won't disturb this crime scene, but I will make a note of that number for myself. I suppose at this point I'll take a few steps outside. Does the building have like a fire exit or a secondary exit?
No. Not in this shop. It's sort of a small hole-in-the-wall arrangement.
Not very health and safety. I was always telling Tyrone off about that. Very well, then I have to exit from the front.
Yes. And there is also one more room. It is the storeroom where he would keep records and such things. Yeah, there's that left. But do you go to look after the other man?
I don't need to look after him at all. He's not part of my community. I'll go to the door then and just poke my head into the storeroom. Quickly though, I'm aware that any moment now there's probably going to be lots of police coming and causing a nuisance.
Matthew, you are outside and the contents of your stomach has been emptied on the street. The smell won't make it out of your nostrils, and you can feel your body shake from the exertion. The other man is still in there, though. You can hear him shuffling about, going into another room.
I'll need to get him to leave. This is not just a crime scene. It's been some kind of truly grisly murder in there, so I can't get the images out of my head of what I just saw. I'll light up a cigarette to try to get the foul smell out of my nostrils if I can. Where the hell are they? I'll radio again.
You see blue lights starting to come down of the side street and flicker. Doors open on the car. Do you go back in to try and get him out, or do you wait for the group to come? He could be messing with the place.
He could be, yes. But if I can see them over there, then I'll just try to get them over to the place as soon as possible. I think that's my priority. I'll try to guide them in.
They're walking to you, kind of leisurely, almost, laughing to each other. And never has the taste of tobacco been sweeter. Gabe, you're looking into the storeroom here.
Very quickly, poking my head in through the door. I don't think I have time for a full search.
No. Probably not. There's crates with unsellable vinyls and cardboard boxes stacked from wall to wall. The air feels damp due to the blood. The ceiling light is blocked in part. It's fluorescent lights, but up there you see something. You see a body. Something dripping from the ceiling. And your eyes widen as you take in the sight of a naked body, headless and completely skinned, limbs splayed and fastened to the ceiling by thick nails. The body seems to twitch and shiver and bleed still, coating the crates below with a glossy sheen of fresh blood.
I'll take a step back. This is awful. Again, I don't know, I can't see. Normally no one could identify, but can I just sense? Is this Tyrone? Someone in here must be Tyrone, surely. Although where did I hear that noise? Someone was alive, wasn't there?
As you look closer, it looks like the body is still twitching and shivering. And possibly, somehow, alive. And You see further in that there are crates. They are messed about. One of them has been smashed, almost as if a body has been thrown against it. You can see small glass vials in the box, and a grey-black swirling liquid oozes from cracks in it. It's trying to be held together by duct tape. They're moving in there. There's something about that.
I'll snatch one up quickly, and then I could hear noises outside, and I know I have to go, but there's one last thing. I look at this horror, this scene, and this clearly is forces from beyond, and this person cannot be allowed to suffer. I'm going to try to manipulate the illusion. I do not wish for this person still twitching to twitch anymore. They must be freed. They must be allowed to die. I'd like to see if I can make that happen.
All right. Please roll to manipulate the illusion.
And that is 18 as I try to dispel this magical effect.
And you feel a crash upon the place as a stillness almost explodes from the center of the room and outwards. And the shivering stops. You can hear other noises that you thought you heard before growing still as well. But then from below you, from where the boxes were, you hear a long, agonizing whimper coming from beneath. You instinctively look down. Tyrone Jaffe. Now only a torso has dragged himself to your feet. His visage has been torn. He is an abomination of muscles, fat and bones. Fine metal wires hold everything tight, circling in and out of what is left of a man's body, protruding out of the nipples, in through the nose, out in the back of the head, and twisted down the shoulders and arms, only to find a way in where the nails should be. The only thing that is human is his eyes, and he stares at you in panic. A wet and drooling moan, filled with pain and anguish, issues from his broken mouth. Metal wires that have pierced his lips and tongue sprout like the legs of a great spider. He holds on to you, onto your legs, using whatever remaining strength to pull you toward him. Then all of the lights go out with a bang, and the record shop is finally completely submerged in darkness. You feel the corpse weighing you down, agonizing silently just below your waistline.
Try to whisper to him quickly. I don't know how much time I have. Tyrone, my friend, who did this to you? Who did this to you? I'll make them pay.
And I'd like you to roll to keep it together as you see your old friend completely ruined in this way.
16. I have no time to be afraid, no time to worry. I am aware of the world and what it truly is. And this sight, though horrifying, I don't have time to be horrified by it. I need to know what I need to do before my friend maybe is gone forever. Or worse, turned into some eternal abomination.
I'm going to make a skip in time here. We leave the scene with you talking to this husk of a man, possibly shaking him by his shoulders as he hangs, just being half a body around your waist. To the next day, early morning, only a few hours later, really. Matthew Sunderland, team leader for the London Drug Intelligence Unit, and Gabe, an activist in the local community who has a lot more to him than what it seems. You have both been witnesses of a bloody crime scene not of this world, and are catching your breath out on Electric Avenue. It's early morning, and both of you are standing in a cordoned-off part of the street as the police mingle with the agents of the LDIU, trying to keep space clear as civilians are flocking around, and to you, gang members are watching from afar, this is their community and it concerns all of them. Gabe, you've seen Matthew been giving orders to his colleagues and discussing with the police. What is going through your mind?
Well, for starters, I really wish I'd been able to get away a little sooner. I didn't want to be asked questions. It gets in the way of my own investigations. But I suppose it's become, well, a big thing. And besides, I'm not alone anymore. There's several people I know who are here now. So I suppose I don't mind hanging around and being polite as a witness. But did I get anything from poor Tyrone? Anything at all, or was it just agonized moans before I was, I assume, taken away by the police?
Ruined as he was, you could hear the desperation and him trying to communicate something to you, but it didn't come out to more than impossible to understand ramblings and guttural noises. You are not really being held here as a suspect. You were a witness going in after, and, well, Matthew was there all along, more or less. And you were keeping watch of the place, Matthew, except for that very short, what could it have been, 3-4 minutes that you were down on the street? How could this have happened? Well, Matthew, you have members of the police here, and the crime scene is being investigated. It's not a place for civilians, but for some reason you have chosen not to dismiss Gabe. What's running through your head, and why are you deciding to hold him here?
I mean, he was at the scene. He obviously knows something. He seemed to know this person. I couldn't catch all that much of what he was doing. I was too busy puking my guts out, but yeah, if he's someone who knows Tyrone, maybe he might be able to provide some information. So yeah, I've kept him around as a witness, and it is a bit disturbing that he was at the crime scene himself. He might have disturbed something. So if there is something he has done, then keeping him here might help reveal that. So yeah, I just politely asked him to remain.
As the sun rose, it was slightly easier to see things in there, although the shop windows were still splattered, darkened with the blood. You've made your way through the place now, Matthew, as your colleagues. You've seen most of what Gabe has seen. There are no alive bodies in there in any sense, but there's one that's been torn into two, and a second one that's been decapitated and completely flayed. What you saw hanging over the counter, which seemed like mostly like a big towel, turns out to be a meter-long slab of human skin, carefully cut and placed there on the cashier's counter. You have discussed with the police. You have, of course, noticed the presence of black skies. You know that's what it is, the vials in the back. And Gabe, you currently have one of these vials on you. There's that. You've seen the photographs. Gabe, did you take the napkin that you saw there, or did you put it back?
I put the napkin back. All I have on me is one photograph that I did quickly tear up before I even came out, and of course that one vial.
Yes, there's that. There's drug samples, clearly marked by a Joy Boy's yellow, and then the occult symbols in the place. Of course, there's the Joy Boy as well, the dead person that you had a chance to speak to, also just minutes before this happened. And he's been identified as a D.D. Bronson. Clearly, the murderers don't care about crossing the Joy Boy's path. Question is, was he a casualty or the intended target here? On the napkin that you see, there's again a number and someone writing, call me when things get ugly, and the name Maria. Your job is still, Matthew, to find the source of black skies. He's clearly a dealer, but where does it come from? And Gabe, to you, this is clearly a straight attack on the community. It's not going to help in any kind of way, and you're not sure how it's going to stir things up with gangs and everything else that's been going on. And who knows what's been going on. The police seem to want to cover up some of the things anyway. So, maybe I'll leave it to you, Matthew, for now. You can see the police is there. There's also some advisor that you think have been called in. You don't really know her name, but she's standing to the side. Looks a bit like a civilian, but has eyes of a hawk almost. She's dressed formally in a pencil skirt, suit, white blouse, needle sharp heels, really sharp heels, and impeccably, makeup is sparse but impeccable behind black rimmed glasses. She doesn't seem like she belongs here, but the police is occasionally talking to her, and she is playing with a pen and occasionally seemingly taking notes on her hand.
I'll ask one of my colleagues, who's that? The lady there. She doesn't really look like she belongs, does she?
No, she's one of the advisors. You reach out, to one of your colleagues there in the drug intelligence unit, and I've been hearing strange things about her. She's supposedly called in from Manchester, I think, to help solve the drug war situation. Some sort of study, some sort of genius who knows the minds of them and how they work.
Well, I'll believe that when I see it, but well, we do need all the help that we can get. I suppose I'll go introduce myself, see if she has any thoughts on this massacre. And yes, I will do as I said, and I will move up to this lady to introduce myself. I'm Sunderland with the LDIU.
You can see she's not looking down at her hand as she is scribbling something on it. It's a little bit strange. But she does look at you with those sharp eyes and says, Helen Smith, how can I help you?
Oh, I wanted to ask you that, actually. You, supposedly you have some insight into the situation that we are dealing with here. Be all ears. We're really keen on solving this case.
You are with the London Drug Intelligence Units, yes. You are the ones that are going to supposedly track down where the origin of Black Skies is, yes?
Yes, indeed. The proprietor of this establishment is a known dealer, and, well, there's plenty of Black Skies around here. Good chance that we might be able to track down where he's been able to procure it from.
Yes, and I trust you will find it out for us. She says, almost like giving you an order. We are looking out on our end for similar looking murders.
Has there been others?
Investigations are being made. I haven't seen anything like this before. And she makes a strange face as she holds up her hand toward you, or as if she wants a high five. It looks very strange, but then you see that on the hand is scribbled, not Helen.
Well, that's very strange.
She takes the hand down and just stares at you for a second before turning back to the store. It's a very strange person. The whole feel around her is that she's a bit out of place. Supposedly an expert on this, so they said, and who knows what goes on in those people's minds. But she's technically not police, so maybe she's just there to give opinions on things.
We do have people like that by once in a while, especially in the more difficult cases. So I suppose I try to not think more of it than good that we're getting the extra help. We have a lead, though, to go on this Maria. So we better try and track that down, see if that will lead us to the wholesaler of the drugs.
I'll move over to Gabe. You can see Matthew moving in between and people moving here and there. You feel like you need to do something as well. But what can you do from the things that you know? You can see that, well, you have the photograph. You know the people connected with the movement. And you saw that napkin with the name on. You saw and have in possession something that you're not quite sure what it is. Some sort of drug, maybe. And you know the connections to the Joy Boys and the occult symbols. There are many things here that you could look at. What do you feel that you want to do?
Firstly, I need to get out of here for the moment, because I'm wasting my time just watching these police meddle. Although there is this one I met. I'm going to quickly go up to him and just clear my throat. Sorry, what was your name again, sir? Can I go? I believe I've given a statement, and I've got places to be.
Sunderland. And I think I took your name, Mr.
Gabe.
Right. Gabe. Yes, I think we have what we need from you. You don't happen to know where Mr. Jaffe was getting all these drugs from. It's not unlikely that whoever did this is somehow connected with the trade, and, well, perhaps there was some lack of payment or something like that. You know how these folks operate.
Well, I certainly don't, and I think you might have a bit of a wrong end of the stick here. I believe, personally, my dear friend has been framed. There is no way he would have had those things on him. Maybe it was that person who came in just beforehand, or maybe something else. Who knows?
No, I get you. You have to stand up for your friends and all that, but this is a known location where drugs were sold from. There's it's all very clear, but I understand you need to protect your friends.
Of course, no. Officer Sunderland. So what was your first name again?
It's Matthew, if it means anything to you, but
I don't need to know it. It's just nice to know who I'm talking to, because if I do find something, I'd like to come by and talk to an officer, Matthew Sunderland. That would be delightful. But so if I do have a number, perhaps
I'll give my card then. Yeah, if you can.
Oh, thank you.
If you can call here if there's anything you think of, perhaps you'll have a second thought about what Tyrone was involved in. It's always appreciated.
And so, if I'm allowed to go, I'll bid farewell to the officer and begin moving into the crowd. I'll immediately spot a few people I know, hopefully at least one or two from the church, and I'll just quietly say, gather as many as you can, friends. We need to stop this, and we need to see what we can do. I need all of you as soon as possible. We need to gather under the church.
Gabe, but what's happened? What's happened to Tyrone?
He's been harmed. He's been taken from us by our enemies, by terrible forces, and we need to gather and we need to commune.
What are the police doing here? They're just stirring shit up.
Yes, but they didn't do this. Not on this occasion. No, something else did this, my friends. Come, let's go to the safety of the sanctuary and begin. Mother will have answers. And, well, we're going to get a little help from one of them. I think the detective or the officer is going to maybe help us more than he thinks. And I smile and I give this individual a good firm squeeze on the shoulder.
And people seem slightly reassured. You can see some starting to talk amongst each others, and summons are sort of being made. And Matthew, you see this as Gabe is moving out. A lot of people are coming to him to talk. He seems to be someone clearly in the community. And as you are thinking this and watching him, one of the police officers come up to you. Yeah, and he says, "Yeah, that old loon over there. That's the one they call Gabe. Local community activist. Seems to think he's communing with spirits and such. A bit of a whackhead. I don't see what people are listening to him for."
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting him already before. Well, he does seem to be very well connected with the community, regardless of what they are up to. I think he knows a lot more than he lets on. So let's keep track of him and make sure that... let's see if we can perhaps tap his phone. See if we can find out who he's talking to.
The police officer is nodding vigorously, approvingly to this suggestion of a possible suspect of any kind, really, and seems to take this on to some of the others working there. Yeah, and you in turn, you have all these things now. What would you like to find out a little bit more about?
Well, this Maria, who that is, that number, who does it lead to first and foremost? That is something to try to find out. And then aside from that, if there is any other evidence that would point to where these drugs came from, if there's any kind of shipping crates or something like that might indicate where he was able to get it from. I mean, we didn't see any deliveries, so it must have come before we started monitoring this place.
Yeah, he was clearly dealing it. But it was just this, one box, quite full with it though. Not too strange that he hadn't been able to deal all of it yet. And a kind of surprising amount for one person. Yes, there's one of the crime scene investigators, they do fish up a note from it with a number on.
I'll have a look. Who is this then?
No name.
Let's see if we can do a trace on this. Find out who this number belongs to. I'll say to one in my team. Let's do a trace on this number. Find out who owns it. It might be important.
And this isn't impossible to do. You've got all the equipments you need and quite a few pieces of technology is put up there in the hotel room where you're performing your surveillance. So you'll need to call it, of course, to try and figure out where it's going. Do you do so then?
Yeah, I'll try to do so from... I'll go out to a payphone. I don't want to tip off that that the police are calling him if he's able to track the number back. So yeah, I'll call the number from a payphone.
There's a few ring signals, and then someone picks up. You hear a voice of a young man. Yep. Hello?
I'll just hang up then. At least it's in use. If we track who it belongs to, we'll be able to learn a bit more. Don't want to tip him off in any way.
Yeah, no, of course not. The number you're calling from is not a dead giveaway. Mind, this is 1991, and only a fair few were able to see what numbers were calling them if you chose to have that sort of feature on your phone. So someone is clearly using it. They're not sure who, and they're starting to look into who that number could go to. Alright, so that's in progress. As you do that, we're going to move to Gabe. What do you do as you start bringing people to your place?
I'll make my way back to my sanctuary. As I do so, I'll calm the people on the way in, telling them all to cooperate with the police as much as possible on this occasion. Don't let them force you to do anything, but no harm in just answering basic questions. After all, this has nothing to do with us. This is an attack on our community. But I will gather the chosen down below. and I will begin preparations for the ritual. I have no time to go around asking questions or tapping lines or being a policeman. It's not my job. I just need to find out the source of this problem, and I have it, at least I think I do, in this vial. I will place the vial in the centre of the circle. I will then begin to cover it in protective salts. I will then make the inscriptions on the ground and summon 4 of my best, and we will begin the ritual. This might need to be quite a potent ritual, so I will, of course, enact the ceremony of blood. I will cut just a bit of my thumb and spill some of my blood into a cup. I shall pass this among 4 of the others. They don't need to know exactly what I'm doing. They just need to know that I am beseeching Mother for protection and guidance. But I know what I'm doing. I'm going to beseech Mother for more than that. I'm going to beseech her for the source. Where is this threat? Or who is this threat? And where can I find them? Again, depending on how it goes, well, maybe I can tip the police off. If it truly is a threat they can deal with, but if not, I will have to go myself. I cannot abide this any longer. And then, of course, well, the detective, or the officer, Matthew. I'll keep his card and his name close by. Maybe if the ritual goes very well, I can do a secondary thing as well. But perhaps we should just see how the ritual goes at first. I would like to use Master of Rites to conduct a long-term, so it will be a couple of hours at least, ritual in my sanctum.
Why don't you roll for that then?
That is a 21, meaning I get 2 choices here. And so I begin the ritual. Again, we turn the music up, kind of low. It actually helps for some reason, even I don't know why. We fill the room with the incense and smoke. The blood begins to simmer in the chalice. The ritual has succeeded. I must, of course, at this point bow very low to the ground in supplication. I beseech Mother. Mother, dearest Mother, there is a threat to your community, a threat to your family. It is this substance, this thing. And I briefly look up to the vial that I have laid out in the centre of the circle. And then quietly, in my own mind, I ask, where is its source, Mother? How can we take this from your community? How can we destroy this intrusion? What must I do as your servant? And I beseech her for aid, whatever aid she is willing to give.
So you're asking where the source is?
Where the source is, or who's the threat, which maybe they go hand in hand.
And there you are in your ritual. The incense, your followers. And as you ask these questions, the people around you, they repeat them for you. For that is the way that you must do your rituals and the way that you usually congregate. Everything must start with family. And family are those that you choose to keep around you and to treasure and to never fail. And time passes as you go deeper and deeper into a trance. Matthew, they're coming back to you with a trace on that number. It's also taking an hour or so. Do you do anything else in the meantime?
Oh, look at that photograph. Check out the drug samples. Try to find out if there was anything more to learn about this dead Joy Boy that I met right before his demise.
A lot of these photos seem to stem from earlier years, not too long back, but you can find out that most people in them are members of what was the movement. And some of the faces, while you can't see them, there are some that you can make out, and they have been identified as eclectic mix of people, all trying to enrich the society around them in different kinds of ways. You have a few names. There's a punk band. There's a former hustler that you know now runs a local boxing gym. Social worker here and preschool teacher there. They all seem connected to trying to make positive changes in the community. There's definitely people that you could decide to visit and talk to there. So that's one way to go. What else? What is you asking for?
Well, the dead Joy Boy, if there was anything about him, about why he in particular was here, if there's anything on the body, any kind of evidence or, something that would help explain why he was here. If he was here for a purchase, perhaps, that could make sense.
It becomes clear to you that whatever he was carrying under his arm was a shoebox filled with drugs. Clearly samples, because of the vast, array of different kinds of drugs. Probably some sort of business meeting. Maybe the Joy Boys were trying to extend their territory to here. You hadn't noticed any other gang necessarily tied to the place. It's funny though, because what's in his blocks is anything but what's black skies. So whatever that means, well, the Joy Boy, his name is Didi. You can see some other Joy Boys hanging around nearby, clearly just marking their presence in the scene, but they don't stay too long. So there's a connection possibly to the Joy Boys, absolutely, and he was connected to the movement. And as you're getting all this information, you can also get a number back from an apartment on something called Malham's Mews, a small side road.
Mm-hmm. That's which number was it that led there? Was that the Maria number?
No, this was the number found in the Black Skies box.
Well, then we'll look into that then. Yes, I look at this Joy Boy and his box of mixed drugs, and that just seems like he was trying to make some new connections, and he ended up getting caught up in this. It's probably not the reason for why everyone ended up dead. But this number that was in the box, that could be important. So I called the team together, and I'll share this information. Alright, so we have a lead on this box. Could be an indication of where it came from. Why don't we head out and see what we can find at this location. Perhaps we'll be able to, to get a hold of them before they decide to relocate. They will undoubtedly have heard about what has happened here today, so we have to act quick.
The team understands your orders, and that will be the next move for you. You start going out and going through Brixton, seeing, both dilapidated places where a street gang seems to be aggressively talking to someone down a small alley, and on another corner, as you step out of the car, there is a mother high on crack standing on the street corner begging for money. On her arm is an infant with a leaking diaper. You'll also see a small library next to it, set up in a repurposed storefront, trying to invite locals to borrow and exchange books. There's a stark difference between the hope of people trying to do something and those completely lost in despair. And you come out on Malham's Mews.
I'll make a mental note of where I saw that mother with the infant. We have to get social services tipped off of this. I don't think we can help the mother, but the infant certainly deserves a better fate than that. But that's not why I'm here right now, so I'll get the team out then, and we'll scope out this place, see what we can see, if there's if there's anyone guarding the place or anything that we can learn by looking at it from the outside.
Do you have any specific role you would like to use for that?
Well, let's use then the network of contacts to basically do some research on the owners of this building. I mean, we're looking at it from the outside, but it's also good to learn about the who actually owns it, and if we are the first ones to scope this place out, or if there's been previous investigations made.
All right. Would you like to roll charisma then?
18.
Oh, very good. All right then. Well, that means you have 3 questions, and you have the exact number and the apartment that this would be in regard to. So feel free to ask anything you'd like to know about this particular place where someone clearly is related to the Black Skies drug.
Well, then, since we have this apartment number, if there's any way to find out who they have business dealings with, so here it would depend on, has someone actually been looking into this place before, or would it make more sense to ask something else?
It, from what you can get from within the police and your agency network, it doesn't seem like they have been looked into more than, the social services had been contacted once where there was some possible neglect of a child. But that was about 10 years ago now. Aside from that, you can only see that there's should be a couple living there. It's Nelsons.
The Nelsons. All right.
Supposedly a couple and boy. Only should be in his teenage years now, from what you can understand.
Do any of them have a criminal record?
No.
Do they have any other properties that they own? Perhaps a warehouse of some kind, or a garage of something of that nature, from where they could be, shipping these goods. I mean, they're probably not going to be doing it from their apartment. I mean, they could be, but if they're moving larger volumes, then they would need something else.
Well, is this in particular the family you're asking about now?
Yes, the owners of this apartment, or the tenants, depending on what kind of situation it is.
They seem to be just a family, except from that.
We don't have anything on the son then either. I mean, he would seem to be in the age of where people would get into trouble, especially if they have not the best upbringing.
Well, you do ask around to try and find someone who would know, and you have informants on the streets as well. Those are definitely to your disposal. And after a little bit of digging, you do find out that, this kid seems to have gotten into trouble with one of the gangs, though you're not quite sure which one. This is not really in anyone's particular territory that you're in, but yes, you get to hear from one informant that they've seen the kid run with things, but mostly being someone who keeps an eye out for rival and police activity, and then buys time and distracts people. Some little talker, apparently.
All right, well, we're going to have to make a visit at this place then. Seems to be all kinds of indications then that they are gang-related, so we should have the reasons we need to do a search of the premises.
Yeah, why not start with talking to someone? Absolutely. So, do you go and knock on the front door, or how do you do this?
Yeah, see if someone's home. If they're not, we're going to go inside.
It takes a little while. You hear someone shouting from the inside. Trick! Trick, get the door! Trick, where the fuck are you? Get the door! Yeah, moaning and someone dragging their feet come up. It's a female voice, and as the door opens, a haggard-looking woman with dark blonde hair, and she's looking at you, sort of squinting at the light outside, and with some dark eyes, tired, and, well, to you, quite possibly a drug user. Who the fuck are you?
Police. We are investigating a gang and drug-related case.
What? There's no, She stands there. There's nothing going on here.
We're looking for your son.
Oh, fuck. What's he doing now? He's not doing anything for me, that's for sure.
No, but he might be doing something for someone else. If we could speak to him, that would be very helpful.
She sniffles and rubs her nose. I don't know where he is, alright? Don't know. Probably out there somewhere. Doing I don't know what. Maybe he's in school, actually.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's there. Would you mind if we go and have a look at his room, see if we can find something out there?
She looks like she's going to resist here, but she's just tiredly stepping to the side and opening the door for you, and goes to sit by a kitchen table, lighting up a cigarette.
All right, I'll put my gloves on and I'll point to the team and get everyone to move into the room, then to start looking around, seeing if we can locate any kind of evidence, anything connected with the drug, perhaps any further clues as to where these are coming from.
Let's do a little combined roll. We are going to ask to roll for charisma to keep the house calm with this woman, probably the young man in question's mum, calm, as well as looking around the place. So let's roll for investigate and let's roll for charisma, maybe.
Yes, I do have awe-inspiring, so I can remain in control of the situation. I'll start with charisma then. That's great, so that is 18 again. And then investigate. Now, I myself am not necessarily the best investigator, so I roll 10 on my investigate roll, but I'm here with a team, so my hope is that they are going to be better at finding things. But I roll 10 for myself.
Yeah, alright. Well, it's funny. You start looking into and around the room here. Well, that clearly belongs to him. And you're going through everything, trying to find any suspicious places, classic shoeboxes under the bed and such things. And at first you're not too lucky. Not really. You see a lot of posters of bands and music. There's magazines spread about. And after a while, the mum comes in to join you. She seems bored and restless, and she starts talking about how useless her son is, that never helps her out, and ungrateful he is for everything they've done for her. And she's not really getting in the way, but she is almost curiously looking on. It's almost like she is happy to have the company, and it doesn't take you too long until she has offered you all tea, and she starts helping you, looking for things. And it's then that when you go over to look in her room, that things feel a little bit worse. You notice small stains of blood, and she is not noticing what you're noticing. She's just talking and kind of helping you lift things around, as if she's looking through her own place, looking for something. And then she seems to, well, she's not doing a very good job here. She finds something, and she is rummaging around a couple of sheets and takes something out and tries to just go out of the room.
I'll follow. Hey, what did you find there?
Nothing. It's
Just should give it here. All right.
I just feel a bit embarrassed, It's personal things that get left around, Don't want to. You could hurt yourself. And she hands over a syringe to you, with a little bit of that, looking almost like watercolor, swirling stuff in.
And this is from her bed, right? Or?
Yeah, from her bed.
Oh, ma'am, you know this is illegal and that it is very bad for you, I'm certain.
Oh, yeah, I don't honestly. Oh, it's it's really hard, actually, trying to raise a child. And she starts sobbing, is like, and it comes over to you, and she starts sort of touching your shoulders. You try your best, and you work really hard, and there's nothing you get back.
I'm certain that it's very tough. Now, what I'm more interested in, though, is where you got this from. Who's dealing? Is it your son who's providing you with this, or are you buying it from someone else?
Oh, he's getting it from his friends, I think. It's something they're calling themselves like. I think it's just a few youngsters, like none of the big gangs or something like that. But somehow they got this stuff, and they're calling themselves something like the Path or something.
The Path. I'm sort of thinking back then. The Path. Is that the PDC then, or? No,
you don't think so. Poverty. No, that shouldn't be them. Path. It's different.
The Path, do you happen to know what else they're called?
You should ask. You should talk to him, I guess. He's coming home, and it's I don't know when he comes and goes. He usually hangs out on one of the other streets around here. I'm not sure if it's Angel Road. Angel Road.
All right, thanks. We'll look into that, and I'll throw the syringe back on the bed. Hide it better next time.
She hungrily goes for it as you leave.
I didn't want to put her in a situation where she has to procure drugs again. She's clearly a junkie. She needs help, but well, me taking it away from her now is not going to make anything better. She's just going to end up going out there and possibly doing something dangerous. So, best that she keeps it. But we have some new clues now. Angel Road. The Path. Perhaps we'll be able to find him there.
Let's go back to Gabe as your communion proceeds. How does it usually visualize the places that you see, if you would call it a temple where you allow yourself to be?
It depends. Sometimes I see ruined landscapes, other times strange buildings. Sometimes when I want to truly commune, I find myself in dark halls, large and vast. Sometimes there are figures in those halls whispering to each other, huddled together. Sometimes I even see faces, although they're always the same face. Strange beings all with the same face, but of course they'd have the same face because they are all one, they are all community. I never, of course, truly see Mother. None can see her, it is forbidden. But through these beings, sometimes that's where I get my will, or her will, or its will. It doesn't really matter.
You are finding yourself, this time, on top of a tall building. You see the vast landscape around you, houses, and it's like seeing London, but with clear influences of different times. Some stands out as more recent. There's also Victorian buildings, but things and places that go much, much further back than that. It's a tall building, a husk of a building, really, like a started construction project that didn't really finish. And below you and in the streets, they walk around, all these people, all your people, all wearing the same faces. But you see down there, you see also how people get drawn into this building. And then they're being thrown out again in black vapors. They come in and they are thrown out. Innocent people, friend people, desperate people looking for a way out. They're tired. Someone grabs them, pulls them into the building, and they are spit out in black smoke. And that smoke is mixed with the remains of those people and something else. You know this place. You're in Brixton. You're in Brixton still. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I must head to this place sooner rather than later, but before I end the ritual, I feel that the ritual has gone well. I feel that I can ask one more thing. I will, between the borders of this vision and what I am aware is the illusion where I'm still sitting or kneeling in a circle, attempt to place the card the policeman gave me into the centre of the ritual circle and set it on fire, and I will say his name. Matthew Sunderland. It is time for you to join us. You will become part of the community. You will see me as a friend, as family, and you will serve Mother. I don't have time for this policeman to get in my way. I don't have time for him not to trust me. He needs to be fully with me and fully support what I do to stop this. And so I am going to attempt to enslave Matthew Sunderland to the will of Mother. Now, he can make a keep it together roll. If he succeeds, he will resist this. If not, well, let's see.
Matthew, as you step outside of the house down on the rundown street, you are met with a crowd of people. It's the whole street almost have been covered in people looking at you with friendly, smiling faces. Some of them have signs. It says, "Welcome." Others, it says your name, Matthew Sunderland, on them. They are cheering happily at you. Some of them throw confetti. There are children playing and holding up little homemade cards. Please roll to keep it together.
That's 15.
And what does that mean for you, Gabe? You see him down there.
I see him, I reach for him, but he resists. I let out a heavy sigh. So he'll be an obstacle then. I suppose I'll try to play nice, but sadly, if he gets in my way, I will have to deal with him. How can he refuse this offer? How can he refuse the light of Mother? It irritates me. And I relinquish, because the ritual is becoming to an end.
You don't have time for this. You don't know what's going on here or how people know who you are. It must be that man that you met. What was his name? Gabe. He's up to something strange. You don't have time for this. You're in the middle of an investigation. You push yourself through the crowd and make your way back to your car. People are looking at you with disappointed faces and staring after you as you make your way off with your team towards Angel Road.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the Cultmas scenario, Black Skies over Brixton, which is available for free from the fine folks over at Helmgast by following the link in the show notes. Helmgast have also been kind enough to sponsor this series. The music was made by Atrium Carceri and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon: Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Antxon, and Graham Barey for their generous support. We would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Divinity Lost, Call of Cthulhu, and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember that death is only the beginning.